live. I'll call the meeting back to order.
We're waiting for.
Oh, here he is. He can do his part from walking over. Yeah. I just wondered if anybody objects to moving 12.7 up to the top for now. I'm dealing with it now. Okay, 12.7. A letter from Jed Stonehouse, formal request to have development agreement extended. And,
Garth has a little bit of information for you.
okay.
Yeah, good morning, Council. Mr. Stonehouse is present, and
That's why I moved it up, so that he doesn't have to sit here all day.
any questions, if there are any from Council for him, he doesn't have a presentation, but he's happy to respond.
Yeah.
Like so, so the letter was received and scheduled for Council agenda. We do have a camera item relating to this later in the agenda with the staff report that we will present for discussion.
So essentially, you're telling me that's his request.
Yeah, so I guess in short, so there's an existing development agreement in effect, and the request here is to formally extend the timelines within that development agreement. It is still valid and in effect today, but the request is for a formal council motion to extend that.
When does it expire?
We can't amend the agreement only to approve this.
He tells me we can't amend the agreement unless we go through a process.
Yeah. And that's why we have it
That's
on
fine, yeah. The letter just came in for council's
Okay, so-
consideration
It's
here.
there
Yeah.
for council.
So it isn't, we're going to discuss it in camera at the end of the day.
Yeah. But this is the opportunity if you wanted to speak.
Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to answer before we do the in-camera session? They do not. Okay, thank you. Well, I know, but you never know. Okay, so now I got to get back to wherever I was, which was here where I put that plate. 8.3, Senior Safety Program Monthly Report. Councilor Connors.
Thank you. So, as typical, the monthly report has been included in your circulated package, so that you would have prior to the meeting if there are any questions. Nothing jumping out at me for the last month in terms of anything of special interest, just high numbers. So I'm not sure if there are any questions from that, but I do have a request of council.
Okay.
So the request would be I'd like to see if you would be willing to do a motion of council for the Municipality of Chester to write a letter to the province encouraging an increase in funding. We have, I say we, being on the committee of the Senior Safety Partnership, have been working with the same level of core funding since inception. Actually, it's a bit of a failure. The first year or so, it was 20,000, now it's 25. The municipal units have continued to increase their funding, which I think is important, and we're willing to do that, of course. But we do want to, as a group of 5 municipal units, send correspondence to the province encouraging that increase. So if it is the will of council to look at a motion, I would provide some background to Tara to draft such a letter.
Yeah, well, I'm well aware the other municipal units have indicated that there's a definite shortage and need for increased staffing. Yeah. Does anybody have a problem with us writing a letter?
Would you like me to move that motion?
I would.
Okay, I would so move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Clarissa?
Second.
Oh.
Oh, I thought I seconded.
Oh, no. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, council.
Who do you say we're waiting for to go get coffee?
Brian.
Is he on there next at 10.1?
Yep.
Is that the one where we're waiting for him to finish so he can go get coffee? Come on up.
I'm quick just to introduce this. This is just a follow-up to direction from council from a few weeks ago, where council directed us to amend the bylaw 157 to delay the implementation date to January 1st, 2027. So we have to go through the formal process of first reading, publishing, and second reading. So this is before you just to conduct first reading of the.
So we need a motion to approve first reading. Moved, seconded? 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 Discussion?
One, and maybe you could give a very short synopsis of what this is for those who.
Oh, for the people in the audience, yeah.
For sure. So the municipality
over that side, my nose is picking up.
bylaw, which is a 3% levy on top of any short-term rental accommodations by visitors to the area. It was scheduled to start in January 1st, 2026. The province has made some changes to how they're looking at options for how they can collect from a provincial standpoint instead of making 49 municipalities do it themselves. So to allow that work to take place, we have delayed implementation from January 1st, 2026, which would be in a month, to a year later, so January 1st, 2027.
Okay.
And the industry wants this.
Yes, absolutely. We went through an entire process of engaging with the industry for this and saw significant support for moving ahead with this, including from our biggest employers in the area, from the tourism industry, including the Grand Resort, etc. So this is in response to their desires.
Their desire to have us do it, yeah. Okay, so moved and seconded, discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. You can leave now if you like.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay. No. 10.2, second notice, approval amendment to policy for remuneration of warden, deputy warden, and councillors. 2.
So this is adoption of it's a procedural item, so this was approved back in March, and the actual policy was not updated. So again, this is the formal process that we have to go through to amend policies, and we've already given notice, council's already approved notice.
So that's the
this is
second and
adopted.
final notice, yeah. So I'm prepared to move that we give second and final notice. Moved, seconded, discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. That's to give ourselves a cost of living raise.
And there was a couple other amendments in there, but they were around the benefits, and that was already operationalized.
10.3, second notice of flag raising protocol.
So we have a flag raising protocol that we follow, which we, certain community groups can apply to have flags approved by council to be raised. This amendment in the policy is in regard to observances of mourning. So we have a list of things that we do automatically every year to mourn. And this is adding the National Day of Mourning to that automatic list so that we don't have to come back to council every year to get it approved. Then staff can operationalize this and just put the flags at half-mast for the National Day of Mourning. So this again is adoption. Council's already given first notice for this change.
Do you remember right off the top which other ones we do, just so everybody knows?
That's right.
Okay.
Former, you can scroll up, Emily, you asked it. A formal or a current municipal employee, the current or former warden, a current or former councillor of the municipality, a person in or from the Municipality of Chester who's lost in active service while providing protective services, including our CMP, military personnel and firefighters, and also on November 11th to recognize Remembrance Day.
Okay.
But we also have, the Pan-African flag. I think these are the ones. Pan-African flag, the trans flag on March 31st.
Oh, the special purpose
And
ones.
November
for
20th,
raising
yeah,
flags.
International
For raising.
Transgender Day of Remembrance. Social Autism flag, the 1st of April for Autism Acceptance Month. The Norwegian flag on May 17th. The Pride flag for the first 2 weeks of June for Pride Month, and the All Children Matter flag on September 30th. Honoring National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, or Orange Shirt Day. So those are the ones.
Okay,
Motion to give final notice.
Second.
discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. 10.4, draft surplus assets disposal policy.
Morning.
State your name and your position so that these people know who you are.
My name is Jonathan Meakin. I am Manager of Sustainability and Asset Management
So this policy is in respect to enabling a formal process for council, for the municipality, I should say, as a whole, to be able to dispense with certain assets. So the municipality acquires assets, holds them in public trust because they're acquired with public funds. And in this case, we have movable assets which are involved old vehicles, old IT equipment, office furnishing, things like that. So this is an attempt to sort of develop a formal policy and thus a formal process that will enable the municipality to sort of deal with these surplus assets in a transparent and consistent and fair manner. So, Council, earlier this year we brought forward a report outlining a potential scope for a policy. There was some discussion, and the draft policy before you sort of adopts that direction, in addition to those, obviously, those recommendations in it. In brief, the key points are listed in the report, whether it's the sort of providing a clear definition of what constitutes surplus assets for the purpose of this policy. It confirms the allowable disposal methods, the approval of sales and donations on that item. If you recall, Council, initially we had a discussion in scope as to whether or not Council will be involved in the vetting or approval of certain thresholds for donations and sales, and at that point Council said, no thanks, just keep us out of it. So it's basically become an administrative process in that sense. The thresholds for those in terms of sales relate to the procurement levels and the procurement policy, so there's a consistency of approach there. And then the other aspect is the alignment of with asset management practices as we develop our asset management system overall. The one option then, what we're looking for is Council's first notice for this policy. But the one remaining item is around the extent to which Council would like to prohibit sales to staff. So the initial discussion was to not allow sales to all staff and sort of prohibited that in a sort of blanket way. But following legal review, we have a discussion there in respect to there is no sort of like compelling manner or compelling need to prohibit all staff because there's if the thrust of this is to ensure the advantage for the municipality in providing maximum return on potential sales, there is no sort of as long as that process is clearly conveyed to when the sale is taking place, how it's happening, and that there's no prior notice given to any staff, then there's no reason why staff in general couldn't participate in that. That would still require, though, a limitation on staff involved in the process, whether that's involved in the Asset Management Steering Committee, those involved in the sales of those assets, would be prohibited. So those are the two options. It's either a blanket statement, all staff are prohibited, or it's a limited restriction to those who have a direct sort of involvement in the sale of those assets. So that's the sort of key point we're looking for, direction we're looking for Council today. Following that, we'll then proceed to sort of first notice.
Okay, Andre, you had a question or a comment?
Yeah, first, for me, at least, I read through this, and cleaner just to say no staff, but I just feel like going through the bother of trying to figure out
Who's involved?
who could be contaminated with a potential conflict or not, and it's just not worth it. Sorry, those staff who might have wanted the old junks photocopiers or whatever, but one thing I did notice separate from that sort of thing is that staff will be able to approve donations of up to $10,000 worth of asset, which seems high for something to be sort of like decided by staff without.
And
then I presume that the not-for-profit group would be then selected by staff. I think that seems like a very high value to place on something like that without,
Cancel.
if we're donating something of high value that was paid for by the taxpayer, I feel like that's a very high limit, I feel like. All right, let's have it, Tara.
No, I just want to clarify that there's not a council approval in here as it's drafted.
That's,
So it's actually staff, the asset lead up to 10,000, exceeding 10,000 is the CAO. So you may want to revise those numbers and then add a line of over so much it comes to council.
no, that's the thing, up
Yeah,
to 10,000 is a lot.
Yeah,
10,000 is a lot of dough.
Yeah, make it,
yes, no, I'm just, so are you suggesting that if it's a lower number, if it's 5,000,
If it was like $1,000 or something.
Okay, and then
some
1,000
note lower or something, and somebody
then-
wants it, that's one thing, but,
we're just looking for clarity. Over that threshold, you want it to come to
come to
council?
cancel.
yeah, because we
Okay.
may,
Yeah.
you're selecting something of somewhat valuable thing to be given,
To
and you're choosing where it's gonna go.
which nonprofit
So
is
two
it?
decisions are being made, and I feel like they're important decisions, and that, as stewards of the taxpayer dollar, I think that we should maybe have a say, I don't know.
Also covers family
That's for
members.
discussion. I
Yeah,
noticed it, and
absolutely.
it kind
Yeah,
of
the roads you go.
Spouses, children,
Yeah.
parents. You're eliminating a lot of people.
Yes,
So now council is going to be getting involved, whereas prior to that, Jonathan's first.
well, if we make them an amendment, a
Drafted
change.
amendment was
Yeah.
changed, so we are going to get involved depending on the threshold of monies
Depending on the
for a donated item.
Yeah.
Is that my
That's what-
understanding?
Yeah, if we're donating items that are surplus to us, to some volunteer. Sam, did you want to
Well,
comment?
just to respond to Councilor Dino's comment about being simpler if you have a blanket ban, I think it's actually deceptively simple. It's not really that simple, because when you ban all staff, you're also probably banning family, spouses, children, parents, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you get to a point where who in the municipality is not related to somebody, and maybe to a counselor as well. So you should limit it. So my thoughts, and this came from me, was that if you're involved in the process, you and anybody connected with you are off limits, because you have knowledge, you make decisions. But if you're just happen to be a staff member with no connection with it, you're going to find out as when everybody else finds out about it, and you'll get no preference one way or the other.
So what's the simplest way for us to deal with this?
So, Alan, I may ask, in the past, were staff allowed to purchase the old phones
Yes,
or the old laptop?
councillors were allowed to buy their old laptops if they wanted.
Okay, or equipment, or...
Yeah.
And under the new code of conduct.
We're not allowed to do
You're not
it.
allowed to, so we did bring it to a policy and strategy session. I think we're hearing that maybe there's,
We need to
we need to
change.
probably bring
Tweak it
it back and tweak it and have another discussion, another go-around at policy and strategy, so that everybody understands what's in the draft policy, how it's written.
The criteria, the new
criteria,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, you all comfortable with that?
Well, I'm just gonna pipe up because you're all over my way. But anyway, I agree with Andre. I think that for me, it's simpler to just say no one allowed to buy even stuff. There's that perception out there with the public, and I know we can put it up on an auction, and people did once we know that the
I know,
items
but
are
then like
available.
Sam said, we gotta make sure, does that extend to your sister, your brother, your mother, your grandfather?
Well, maybe we can put
Yeah.
limits on that, but I agree that it should be the general public and not staff or council.
If you're paid staff, if you're a paid staff or a paid council, then no, it's not, just like when you do a prize on the radio. The first thing they say to me on the phone, because I've won several prizes, are you connected with a Lion or Bell Radio? No, so if it's just the intermediate, like staff, paid staff, whether or not my husband chooses to buy the snow blower or his wife decides to buy something, like it has to limit. You have to
Yeah,
have something.
and the value at which council becomes involved, and that's, so
I
they'll
think
draft
more
this,
needs-
they'll
Just
draft
those
this, and-
details out.
Go
yeah.
back in, Terry.
So they-
I think we need to discuss it more in depth at a policy and strategy probably.
The one thing I will flag is that, and Sam, we discussed this via email, is there is that code of conduct for
Oh, yeah.
elected officials has the closely connected persons definition. So we could apply that to the same context, which would address the point that we raised.
Okay, so we'll have enough further discussion on that. We're taking no action today.
All right, so no action at this point.
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Okay, 10.5, proposed changes to fee policy, solid waste.
Morning. Morning. So I'm Scott Quinn, Director of Solid Waste for the Municipality.
I'm Tim Toppin, Director of Financial Information Services.
So the report we're presenting for this morning is just basically to seek council's approval of changes to the fee policy, which say to the audience, basically this policy oversees what fees for various services that the municipality provides to residents. So in particular, it's administrative and for line in particular is for fees, the tipping fees related to Kaiser Environmental Management Center.
Yeah, so a little bit more background, I guess. We brought this policy update to council back in a policy and strategy session in June of this year. We discussed a lot of the fees for everything from building permits to
Everything,
landfill
yeah.
tipping fees. As we looked into it further with the landfill tipping fees, there was a little bit more work required. So now Scott has done a lot of that work doing some work on updating our landfill tipping fees, and so we're kind of bringing all those back together with the changes we presented in June for everything else, and the stuff that Scott has more recently worked on for the landfill.
Yeah.
So as mentioned in our presentation in September, is that there are a certain number of issues that got flagged. One is we had conflicting fee schedules there, so the intent of the amendments is to bring everything more online in terms of a council to approve one that's published on the website right at the moment. So know that at the time we haven't been able to locate a formal, that's already formally. So to bring this in line in terms of
What we're actually charging.
And it's also just on research that we've been able to gather is that a lot of these fees were at or under what's being charged relative to other facilities across the province. So this will also present a path to bring us more in line with sort of the low end of that as well. And also there's the deal with the question of how do we handle requests from not-for-profit organizations. So effectively to deal with that one, we've created a separate fee within there, similar to what the residential, that there is sort of a weight limit exemption that if they're under 200 kilos, they won't be charged a fee, and anything above that, they will be charged the regulatory fees. Same as residents. Residents just have a higher.
Yeah, and we always had to bring that to council because we had no policy.
Yeah. We didn't really have a clear path what to do with those requests. So effectively, in terms of the tipping fees, we're going, so it's the April 2020 fees schedule that's published on the website is sort of acting as a baseline for this new fees going forward. The intent is to gradually bring these up to that low end of the provincial range, if you will, and then year after that point, which will be in 2027, we'll just go with CPI adjustments thereafter. So those are in there. Note that would kick in starting April 1st, 2026, and again, April 2027. And then April 1st subsequent years, there would be no next CPI adjustment from there.
Okay, does anybody questions? You need a motion to approve that, I assume?
It's first.
First notice.
First notice.
All right, somebody prepared to give first notice?
I will.
Moved, seconded, discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay. Oh, on to the second of 4 pages. Whatever. 10.6. First notice, repeal Citizens Planning Advisory Committee.
Good morning.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul Randy, planner. New development project. So when staff were looking through some of the policies that were on the books, recognized that the Citizens Planning Advisory Committee was no longer active, and that we didn't necessarily need the policy on our books anymore. So this is the first notice to
Remove it.
intend to repeal the policy E84. So this committee was established to, as part of the municipal planning strategy process when the major comprehensive review was underway. And the committee hasn't sat since that was approved in 2019. And yet this policy still exists. So the recommendation is to repeal policy.
Motion to formally repeal policy P-84.
Discussion?
Discussions, no problem, great. We haven't been using it anyway. But I think there's been some discussion about combining our village and municipal planning committees.
Yep, there'll be,
Staff currently working on that? or-
yes, it's coming for policy and strategy next week for discussion on committees
Good.
and council.
Good.
Okay.
And I guess the other option would be to keep it on in case we did it as a committee, but then the whole policy would essentially need to be rewritten.
No?
All right, the motion on the floor is to get rid of it, give notice anyway. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Thank you. Chester train station lands.
So this matter is in relation to an application that's been received from the Chester Municipal Heritage Society, who owns and operates the Historical Training Museum and other uses at Smith Road, I believe it is. They would like to do some more commercial activities at their site, but with the institutional zoning doesn't provide for that. So there's several options here, but the recommendation is to change to a commercial zoning from institutional. However, they're right now in the highway commercial zone, which is the zone that would be most appropriate. A development agreement would be needed for a museum or any other institutional use, any other institutional use in the highway commercial zone would require a development agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's recommended for consideration is potentially adding museum use as
allowable
by development permit in the highway commercial zone. And that's would be a policy change, and that's where we need your direction is, are you comfortable with a policy change at this time? So right now there's a museum there, and there's community events and farmers market, and what they're hoping to do is establish a gift shop, and also to potentially rent some of the space upstairs out to maybe a yoga practitioner or as an office space. And then there was also a train car that they brought in a few years ago that's right now permitted as a display. But they seem intent on trying to use the interior of the train for some purpose. And they're also seeking to have some kind of cafe and snacks on site as well. So they would, if it's possible from like a physically design perspective and the building permits and that, they might put a cafe or something in the train car. Or the public could buy a coffee and go and sit on the train car.
It wouldn't be
From our site
breaking the
visit,
law.
It looks like it might be quite an endeavor to try to bring the train car up to code for that, but regardless, they're hoping to do more commercial activities. But the policies are pretty clear that institutional zones shouldn't have
Any commercial
uses
activity.
unless they're directly related to that use. I guess the other options would be to amend the institutional policies to allow more commercial uses in institutional areas. That that wouldn't necessarily be ideal, and we'd have to figure out which uses where it would make sense. And there'd be, but there might be some benefit to allowing some minor activity, commercial activities, so maybe it would be a certain size or whatnot. And then another option would be site-specific permission. So, like we did with the Maple Cottage, they owns lands. Commercial uses are allowed within the institutional zoning framework.
Right, Tara wants
And
to.
I guess another option would be, it's not on here, but I thought of it since then, would be just to keep the policy the same for the highway commercial zone, and they would have to do a development agreement.
To do anything.
Highway commercial. But then if you look at the permitted uses in the highway commercial zone, there's already some commercial or institutional activities that only require development permits. So childcare facility, medical clinic would only require a development permit.
Yeah.
And also in the institutional zone, you wouldn't need a development agreement to do a museum use, you just need a development permit. So it kind of seems like onerous in a way.
Yeah, Tara wants to have
Yeah,
a few
I just
words.
wanted, just for clarity, so the recommendation is to direct staff to go through the amendment process without having done the full policy analysis. It's to start that process of doing that policy analysis. And then, so there's a couple of different options in how that can proceed or how that could proceed. I believe any of those options would require policy amendments. And so there is also the option on the table right now. Oftentimes when we bring these requests for amendment processes forward, it may or may not require a policy amendment. And if it does not, then generally we bring them forward as a information report and say, we're proceeding to this to let you know that we're doing this. In this case, it's a policy amendment, and council can choose upfront not to do any policy amendments, not to touch the policy amendment right now, and to keep it status quo. So I just wanted to clarify that that's always an option when we're talking about the requirement for a policy amendment.
Okay, but if they want changes so they can do more
Then you
commercial
need to go
activity,
through
we
the
need to
policy
go through a
amendment.
policy amendment.
Yeah,
It's just
if you
what,
want to entertain that policy.
yeah. Andre,
So first a question and then a follow-up probably. So should we proceed with some sort of site-specific application? Is there a way of tying that specifically to the current ownership? Is it the owner or is it on the land?
It's on the land.
Is there any way that council then can connect the ownership? Because my concern is you do some site-specific things for a good reason, of course. Everybody wants to drink coffee on the caboose. Good. But, you know, should the ownership change and,
they sell it to some
yeah,
private.
you know, then we have some sort of weird orphaned commercial use that, you know, is now owned by some developer from away and get some sort of weird usage that we never anticipated. So how do we, which of these options protects us from that? Everybody wants to drink coffee on the caboose. How do we do that without creating some legacy of weirdness should the ownership change?
So it's not a discussion, I'm not aware of a way off the top of my head. It would require a land use, a zoning change.
What
And
about
a
DA?
zone-
That's with the
A
owner.
DA doesn't run with the owner, a DA runs with the property.
Property, yeah.
But we can make it very specific to coffee on a caboose, can't we?
Yeah, we could do
You could make it very
site
specific.
specific and say the exact uses.
It still requires a policy amendment, but yes,
Well,
you
but I
could
mean,
do
it sounds like
an
that's-
amendment that would
If I
require.
were gonna follow one of these, because, you know, our commercial area is on the other side of the village. And now we're asking to bring commercial now to this other end, which doesn't really have any at this moment. And that's the challenge here. They have this little island of commercial we're gonna maybe create. And I think it's not really a good corner. You don't really want a lot of commercial activity probably there. It's okay maybe for this sort of an example and to support the Heritage Society, but we don't want a strip mall or some other weird thing going in there if ownership were to change. So how do we come up with something very specific that allows them to do what they want without
Changing
something
everything,
nutty
yeah.
later that everybody wonders what we were thinking when we allowed it.
Sam?
I think it's probably going to require some discussion, but although we can't make it owner-specific, we could probably define who is eligible to apply for the development permit. So say you allowed a certain amount of development of commercial use in an institutional zone by development agreement, and then define who's eligible to apply. And then you can narrow.
Like museum groups or something?
Well, nonprofit groups or groups that are looking for commercial activities either in support of or in conjunction with their nonprofit activities. So
Oh, could we do that?
So the Heritage Society would be saying, anything they do is to support, even if they rent it to somebody else, it's in support of their overall objective. So we could, that's up.
Is that a possibility?
Did you want me to respond first?
Yeah.
I mean, if Sam's saying it's a possibility, it's a possibility. Definitely. I would look to him for that advice in this case. The only other thing I could have thought, and it would be a little unusual, if we did a site-specific.
Site-specific, yeah.
To include language in the policy that should the ownership of the property change, council may wish to revisit the zoning. That would be a strange thing to do, but we could write that in the
But we
policy.
could do it if we wanted to.
It would then be incumbent upon us to track when the ownership changed.
Well.
And reinitiate that discussion, but.
We'd know that without question.
Yeah, but, well, sorry to jump in through the chair, of course,
Yeah.
but, and I know I'm jumping over the chair. But the problem is, we all know now, but should this happen in 15 years and the institutional knowledge of this group is gone and replaced with new people, there'll be no understanding of what led us to this point. And that's the challenge we're confronted with all the time when we look back on bad policy. We're like, what were they thinking? I'm sure at the time there was some sort of rationale. Well, let's not make bad policy here. Let's try to do something that actually does what we had hoped and doesn't burden those that come behind us with some sort of crazy nonsense.
Right, Sharon?
Yeah, I think get a museum is fine, but I think that would be it for me because, I don't know, they already have a store there in the building itself, so I don't know whether they're asking for something they already.
What they're asking for is to add museum, or to zone this as highway commercial, to change the zoning to highway commercial, and then add museums to the highway commercial zone, because right now they're only in the institutional zone. So this would be that would be a significant change for this property.
That's
Yeah.
like that ends up, we need to have a
Yeah, that's too broad.
No, that is too broad, and,
Yeah.
And just to clarify, so they have a few uses there which could be considered commercial, and our development team has gone to lengths to ensure that they can do that. They have to have a clear case as to how it's tied to the museum use currently. So, for example, in the gift shop, they have to sell Heritage Society memorabilia or swag, if you will. They can't just sell third-party items.
This
And
request is a bit
this,
different.
like, they will not be able to get any more permits for any new commercial uses without a change. Our development team has gone to the limit of what they can do to allow them under the current zone. So I just want to make that clear. So we would say, it is like a commercial use, but to get a standalone commercial use that isn't.
And part of this request is to allow like yoga practitioners to
Right.
use
Well,
that
who
space
cares
and
if they
stuff
rent the
like that.
space
So
out of it,
that's-
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if you need a motion on it, but we'll do one. I move that we send this back to staff to come up with a site-specific application in some form that's specific to this not-for-profit
Organization.
So we need a solution built around that, an open-ended, it's a long motion, but an open-ended zoning change to commercial is too broad.
Too broad,
It won't work very well.
So the motion is to be site-specific and tied to the not-for-profit organization.
Yes.
And do we have a seconder for that motion? Seconded? Yeah.
because I
Discussion?
know there is another commercial, there used to be a hardware store there in the corner, like adjacent to that property years ago. So I think there is a section that is commercial.
Well, it used to be.
Commercial across the road.
So,
But the Hobble properties.
Still zone commercial.
The property you're referring to is no longer April.
Okay, that used to be
That was part
our
of the
first one.
2025
The-
village review that we
Yeah.
just did. We reduced the overall area of the highway commercial zone and accounted to.
Well, it's a relatively bad spot for too much commercial activity.
And if I recall, we actually had planned to convert the whole Hobble property into something non-commercial. We were petitioned by the owner.
Not
So
to
we
do
left
that.
it.
Yeah.
But it's not because we didn't want to get rid of it. It just, we relented and it's sort of like an expropriation kind of situation where we would have changed his usage.
Any further discussion on the motion itself? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Thank you. Now. Okay. Eleven point two, Community Wells Program.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fred Molina, Director of Public Works. And this is a follow-up to our ongoing community well program. Essentially, we're trying to get a community well in each district. And right now, 4 of those potential wells are with community organizations. So it's something like that, we approach them, see if they're interested, we test their water. If the water is great, as per the Canadian Drinking Water Quality Guidelines, great. And you have to just look at, well, after an agreement, the outside path, any improvements to the area for access, things like that. In other areas is, yeah, well, let's put a community well on that property, but you're starting from scratch. You gotta clear the land, put in the well nose, do all the tests and so on. So, we've been budgeting for this every year, and that's really what takes up the construction part of it. You make all this happen in order going forward. But council felt that there's no incentive program on top of that, like they should have some kind of monetary amount for these community organizations for them hosting this, and there's an incentive to work together and so on. And right now, after a talk with one community group, they suggested $1,000 annual.
Yeah.
And that's what's brought to council to see what thoughts were.
Well,
There's high, low, and
they're providing a lot of service, but it's, I don't know about annually.
How are we doing on the only one site that we can move forward with at this time?
we have about 4 irons in the fire with community groups right now.
And the one for District 7 at the depot, is that?
That's our own property. We want to give 1,000 to Public Works here.
Yeah, he'd be happy to
Do
take
you
it, yeah.
anticipate that will be up this spring?
We definitely want to have it up and running for summer, for sure.
Yeah, I thought we had talked about maybe giving them a couple $1,000 as an initiative to pursue the project. Yeah. Sorry,
So,
Tina.
That's okay. So, with our annual water coupon program, this will
Save us
be in
money.
place of, correct?
That's an option for sure.
Eventually.
That was the intention of council.
Yes.
A decision hasn't been made until this
That's right.
program's up and running.
Yeah, of course.
We
can't-
bring that-
We can't
yeah.
not do something until
Yeah.
another program is applied. I am thinking that 1,000 is actually much too low, not just too little.
Per
Well,
year?
it's for organizations. I mean, actually, we think it's gonna be for organizations or not-for-profits. I don't know if we're dealing with any businesses. And I'm taking a look at what we have invested, and I'm
Oh,
not
it's
poo-pooing
enormous,
it.
yeah.
I think water is top priority. But what we've invested in, certainly direct costs
Oh,
with the water coupon program, but as well as the indirect costs, when we talk about staff time, we talk about environmental, with the water bottles themselves, and so on. So I'm in favor of looking more favorably at a higher figure for our nonprofits who would take this on, just to put it out on the table.
Yeah.
I'm not putting a figure to it.
Oh, I
yet,
know, I
but-
mean, it costs us, we spent $160,000 this year giving water away. So,
Can I just want to add, so this is just the incentive program. So as each site comes forward, there are improvements that we will be doing. So we will also be bringing
we pay for
forward
that.
the requests, like There may be requests for things like a new well to be drilled.
Filter
They may need
systems.
paving of a parking lot. They may need filtration systems. They may need the plumbing or electrical work to be able to accommodate it. So those requests and that support will be coming on a case-by-case basis, depending on each site and what their needs are. So that would be in addition to the $1,000 or whatever the annual
Yeah.
incentive is.
So just for
You first and then Andre can
So
clarify.
just for clarity then, as we're moving forward in the discussion, or moving along in the discussion, case by case. So an example might be that an organization has everything up to snuff.
Yep.
And they have a good parking area, and it's well lit, because people are gonna wanna do this 24 hours a day. They're not gonna just go in
Yeah.
during the daylight hours. So we would be providing that organization with a certain amount annually, on top of what might be required, right? For those upfront costs. So, case by case. So there are a number of organizations in each of our districts that may want to get involved with this. They may not, they may want to. And I'm talking about those that we've reached out to already and they didn't respond to us. So if I have an organization in my area that is here, and then I have another one here, and they're both great organizations. And they're both great organizations. They're both accessible, but this one's gonna require a new well, more paving, more lighting. And I know we're gonna consider it case by case. I guess my point is, this is operating, this is more giving them an investment in terms of their operating revenues.
Willingness to
Yeah, so
participate.
that's for me, I'm sorry, it's just a bit separate from us deciding this route or this route in my district for an investment that's required. I want to just simply for now, for me, and I know I'm only one person here, look at the annual operating piece.
Andre.
There we go.
So we started on this odyssey
A couple years back.
many years ago. And the report shows that this year we had an expenditure, a retail value on water that we've handed out in little containers of $157,000 worth of water, and through a distribution of 69,000 water coupons. Okay, and when we first started, we wanted to eliminate that whole
Thing,
thing.
yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. It's cumbersome for everybody involved, and costly, and bad for the environment. So we recognize that. Why are we doing this? And we wanted to create these community hubs where you can come. Doesn't matter if it's a drought, not a drought. If your well pump breaks in your well, and it's water security for everybody in the district. That anybody wants water, they know that they can get it. It's accessible. Great. That's what we want. That was the thinking behind this. Originally, there was no discussion when the first idea was first put forth. There was no idea about partnering with community groups or whatever. It was just, we need to create community wells. Quickly after that, we recognized that there are wells already in the community, and then maybe a partnership idea could evolve from that. But should we have not had that option, we would be finding land.
Spending a lot of money.
Spending maybe $30,000 to drill a well. We'd be having to create infrastructure to get in and out of the well. We'd be maintaining that year-round, plowing, maintaining the grounds, all those costs. But instead, we have community groups that are doing a lot of that for us. Plus the actual cost of all these bottles that are going to go away. And we give to groups, most not-for-profit groups that own their own infrastructure. Well, that's mostly community centers, fire halls, and I think maybe you've got on what's the Family Resource Center. That may be ours.
We own the building.
Yeah. Anyways, the point is, they're mostly community centers and groups that we would want to support anyway. And I just cannot understand who would come back and say, we'll give you $1,000. Like, what's that? Nothing. Nothing. To groups we're already giving money to. They want sustainable funding. There's an opportunity for a real partnership. And the idea that this is somehow not impactful, even if we do upgrades, let's say it's the East Chester Community Rec Association in East Chester, and they put an outside tap, maybe we pay to put it there, they create some, but there's still people coming and going. There's what we have to make sure that staff can get in and out. There's traffic where we have to plan around. You know, there's a lot of stuff that is not like it's without impact to the groups that are hosting this. You know, we have a landfill. We charge a hosting fee. So this idea of a community center charging a hosting fee for our community wells that we wanted to do before we even had the idea of going to the community centers is, I can't believe that we even talked about this. I agree with Councillor Connors 100% that we should be giving them some meaningful amount of money annually to maintain this and provide hosting services for these community wells. It's a big responsibility for those groups. Yeah, we're going to take it over, make sure it's working well, test it, or whatever, but they've done all of the work to get this infrastructure in place, and allowing even 5,000 or 6,000 is a drop in the bucket compared with what we're paying for bottles. So like, I just can't imagine that. I think this has come to council several times, and each time, I know I've spoken out to say we actually have to give them some incentive to do this. That's why we're not getting uptake. And I'm just surprised that we come back with 1,000. Who were we talking to? The only thing they asked for was 1,000. Because I know the group that I'm talking to doesn't want 1,000. They want more than 1,000. Make it worth their while. They'll put their well in. So let's actually give them some money to do this job, and then we'll get this finished off finally.
Della.
Yeah, I can, perhaps, Fred, I can speak to that because they're ready to go at the Anglican Church, and I spoke with somebody on the board, and they, that figure is just kicked around. I don't think it's set in stone, and so when I spoke to the representative, she didn't know if 1,000 was high or low, or but she had to have some figure to take back to her board. So I'm in favor if we want to raise the figure, absolutely. I'm in favor of that. And I'm sure the group that's already set up to go is in favor of that. They would say no, the 1,000 is okay. And I think, just to be fair with Fred, that's, I think the last meeting we had or before, that was sort of thrown out there as a base. We didn't really set on any amount, and I think he just sort of took that from the conversation. Does that sound right, Fred?
Yeah, what was thrown out was 1,000.
1,000 was thrown out, and
that's what we went.
So that was an annual fee, right?
Yeah.
Annual fee.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't really.
It's not enough.
Okay, so if we go to 2,500, is that good?
No.
Let's get somewhere.
So,
6,000.
Just keep throwing numbers. I mean, the definition of incentive is just that. It's enticing for me, it benefits me, it benefits you, right? I have what you need, right? So whether or not we throw a bunch of numbers around on the dark there, I mean, should we be doing this yearly now? Should we have this?
I need a little bit more information. I hear what you're saying. So you're telling me $6,000, well, just an example, maybe a community center in my area would be interested in, now they're going to drill a well for them, and then give them $6,000 a year funding. Hey, I think there are a lot more that might sign up for this.
Well, we don't
That's the
only
idea.
need so many.
So I thought.
One per district.
Yeah.
I thought this was people that already, a community center had a well, or the fire department, or like.
They did, but they needed upgrades. I mean, we gotta make sure it meets the provincial
Well, that's
standards.
a little different, yes, it'll have to be tested, and maybe they'll have to put a filtering system on it at some time. But you're talking,
But we're paying for that
More.
stuff. Yeah.
so.
We pay for all those upgrades.
Interested if that's the case.
Well, of course, that's the problem. Nobody's interested. We have one group that's interested. We've been talking about this for years.
No, that's not true.
Okay, well, nobody's interested in my district because there's none of this.
I have interest in my district. They've already identified where to drill. If
Fred,
that
have
comes-
you interested in all districts at this point?
I'm meeting with someone from Councilor Connor's district tomorrow. And I haven't heard everyone else except the district of Chester. There's a couple of things that we're going to do some research on existing wells.
But everywhere
Those
else, we have a
conversations seem
person
positive.
who's
I mean, I know
willing to
it's just
work with us.
conversations at this point, but
So what do we want to do, people?
Well, listen, I'm sorry.
In District 7, do you have it's just the municipal location that we've looked at? So that, just for clarity.
Yeah.
So no other organization in your district, I don't believe.
Well, no, they haven't asked because they just assume, well, somebody wants to come use my water and for little incentive. But if we're going to drill a well on that site because it's a community site,
Why are we doing well?
No, we say that, you know,
for water.
Do they not have a well?
They do, but it may not be adequate to supply
The public.
all the community with water. We're suggesting if we have the site that we're going to make the well better, make it deeper, drill a well.
Like most of the identified sites already have water.
But it's purification systems and treatments, and outside taps that they may not have to meet.
And lighting, yeah.
Lighting.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we need like buildings in some of these areas, right?
If this fails because we can't get uptake, I'll remember this and I'll remind you every chance I get.
I just think, Andre, the essence of community organizations, I think as a rule, is to help people. So, if, I don't think by incentive, well, if that's the case, you can incentivize with $25,000. I think you're going at it the wrong way. I don't think they need that kind of incentive. Yes, it's great to help them, and they appreciate it, but their very nature is to help people. The fire department's very nature is to help people. The Anglican Church is very nature. Anyway, yeah.
Tina, and
Thank
then
you. So,
Tom.
two things. Did you mention that we don't have anyone necessarily jumping in terms of the village? Did you say that?
We're looking at a few wells in the village.
Would our municipal office be an option?
Hmm.
Because we are located in districts.
Yeah, we discussed a number of areas right now, and there's another potential one, so we're gonna get some more research and approach that.
Because I'd like to consider our municipal office, right, as an option. I'd like that to be
If it
considered.
meets the requirements.
You could look at that.
Yeah, and two, remind me again what we spent in this most, like, I mean, our water coupon program, which is a great program, has been a number of years, has been in effect for a number of years. So remind me again, just in this fiscal year that we're in, what we've spent on our water coupon program. What was that again?
So
157,000.
you have an update coming later on, but from municipal funds, nothing.
Oh, no,
because the
but
province
still
is doing it,
taxpayer,
right?
it's still taxpayer.
So, but I think we're up around the 160.
157,000.
Yeah.
That's zero
157.
from the municipality.
And so
Okay.
should the province not participate next year, then how much do we spend?
Yeah, exactly, we don't, yeah.
Same amount, yeah. Tom.
Thank you, Warden Weber, through you to staff and council. This is one of the most important things that we all talk about. 157, 200,000, whatever. I feel to incent people to become interested in this partnership of helping community. Yes, there's lots of organizations that want to help the community. I think that's all their bases actually. But they're running into financial challenges and they have issues and they have challenges. I'd like to recommend that council approve the annual fee, but make it $7,500 for each district to bring it to the table if somebody's interested. If they're not, we're not losing any money, but we're actually saving, because I figured it was $52,500 compared to 157 or 175 or whatever. And if we can do that, then I think we've accomplished an option. There has to be many options considered about this water issue and challenge. It's not one easy fix, but I have to agree, we've practiced this to death for X number of years.
So you're suggesting 7,500 per?
Right, per district, one per district, to encourage them to bring it forward, to show interest. Then we can go from there.
I will say that I'm happy to hear that. I will be supporting that. But if the will of council is something a little low, I'd be even satisfied with 5.
So would I. 5 is,
If you're
5.
okay with that,
I'm
council.
okay with that. I just
Hey,
want to
somebody
see
make
that
a
just-
motion.
One is an
I'll
insult.
make that motion, $5,000.
Second it?
Good.
I'll second 5.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Now,
Thank you.
when we do the budget, I guess we'll figure out where it all comes from.
That was a good one.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Fred.
A lot of humanity there.
Okay, somehow we gotta soon get finished, and I'm not sure how it's possible. It's
Our
11:30.
solicitor has to be in here by 12:30.
I know all this stuff, yeah.
Guess what?
Water distribution program update. Well, do we need anything new from that?
We need a motion. We need a decision.
Oh, decision as to whether to keep giving water away or not?
No.
We're done.
Done.
Good morning, council and student council. My name is Bruce Blackwood. I'm the fire service and safety. So you've already received your report
Yeah.
and discussed it a little bit. Maybe I'll just quickly bring you up to date for the benefit of student council also. As of the 25th of November, we had reports of 784 dry wells or non-drinkable water for coming from those wells. We distributed over 74,000 coupons, and that works out at maximum retail value of fully reimbursed at 190,000. There's 2,400 people participating. That includes member owners and family members. We are under a reimbursement program with the province at this present time, and that's going well. The big change is the weather patterns, and as we've been from the summer under influencing high pressures, keeping the hurricanes and keeping all the weather systems off our coast. Those patterns have changed right now, and
Raining for 2 weeks.
In the official forecast of November 7th, we're expecting that we'll have higher levels of precipitation extending through the Christmas period, and that would be above average precipitation for that period. So the weather has changed. We have received considerable amount of rain, 100 to 200 millimeters across the province, and we are seeing, I can't quantify it, but qualitatively we're seeing a reduction in the amount of coupons we're issuing, the amount of people that are participating in the program.
But they take them from me anyway.
Conference call with the province earlier this week, and there's 21 municipalities across the province with a water distribution program, and we just got an update on where they all stand. The majority are ending either in November or in the first weeks of December, based on and depending on rainfall areas. You see higher amounts up in the Colchester area, but basically most are ending either in November
or first week of December.
Early December. There are a couple, CVRM, which has no end date at this present time, and a couple that are continuing through with no end date right now. Our immediate neighbors have a predetermined end date of December 31st on the Noble side, and on Halifax and Kings County side. Kings County has already ended their program, and Halifax is also ending their program.
Okay, what do we want to do?
So I have a recommendation there.
December 7th?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll move.
Move.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. The motion is that we're ending the water distribution program December 7th.
We are currently on that. Yeah, just one word.
Sure.
I want to thank the staff involved in staff
yes,
recreation.
yes.
And,
Oh, yeah.
for managing since August.
Oh.
It's been 75,000 coupons.
Yeah.
Not only did he issue out, but then he reconciled and come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all the stores that helped them
And the
participate.
stores
in-
that
Yeah.
helped us all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't suppose there's anything we can take off our agenda, is there, for today?
There's some correspondence letters that should be fairly quick to go through, but we tried to remove as much as we could.
I know, it's just that we're gonna go in.
Other than 13.1 for the private road name request, but that one would be a quick one.
That's a 2-second.
We don't have a
Okay.
presenter for that one, so.
Okay, I'll just keep moving, hope for the best. Okay, 12.1, letter of support Zoval Library from South Shore Libraries. Well, we're gonna have that discussion later on, so there's no point in having that discussion now. Chester Garden Club letter of support, same basic thing. Letter from South Shore Writers ATV Club.
So you already have.
We
the
already dealt with that, good. Moving right along. 12.4, letter from Lunenburg County Anti-Racism, Anti-Discrimination Advisory Committee, reappreciation regarding committee terms of reference amendment, so they're just happy?
Yep.
Okay. Letter from the Village Commission, RCMP Advisory Committee, and we're looking at tabling that.
Oh,
and that's,
it's an option, yeah.
well,
Yeah, so the commission
they're
has
gonna change the
requested,
policing stuff.
yeah, the commission has requested a seat on the advisory committee. We know that we're going through a policing review. We're looking at, we've been told that part of that will include a
Change the
community
committee.
safety board, and we don't know what that looks like yet. So it's sounding like, or I'm anticipating that the RCMP advisory boards will morph into something different. So it might be worth tabling that
Until we know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
I just want to make a comment. They reached out to me and they are concerned if they don't have a representation on the current one, they may be overlooked for what comes in the future. They're just asking for a seat. That's all they want.
Well, in many ways, they already have it. Not every district has a seat at the table.
They just wanted to be in a
Yeah.
And if I may, we have counselors from every district. I don't understand why we would have, I'm not actually in favor of supporting this request anyway, personally. So we'll see when the new, what the new format will be going forward, but, you know, I'll just put it out there that I don't really understand, like, we're already doing that job.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have a mechanism, if they have concerns, they have representation. So I'm not sure what problem they're trying to overcome here is. It's not clear in that letter.
No.
Just to speak as a member of the RCMP Advisory Committee, and a few of us have been on there for many years, we do represent the entirety of the municipality. I'm not just saying that. It does come up frequently in terms of the village and parking and speeding. We have, you know, the well-recognized international event, the Chester Race Week. So that comes up in terms of an area of the municipality. It really does.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, just that we don't even know what the changes are gonna be yet, so I don't see much point in changing anything until we know what they are. So unless somebody makes a motion to do something, we're just not gonna do it until we know it. So, Chief Todd Crowell, suspension of hazardous materials response services outside of Kings County. What's that one mean to me?
We're not sure what this one means yet. What it means right now is that Kings County has been providing our hazardous material response team. They've suspended that service to all the municipalities, to any municipality they were providing service to outside of Kings County. They've also reduced the level to level B response within Kings County. So we're not sure what that means. Remo does, I think, have this on their radar. So it's probably a discussion that we will need to continue with Remo and potentially with our own FAC in the future. So it's for information right now.
Okay.
And we'll need to figure out what the impacts of that are and what the potential solutions are. One solution is looking at neighboring communities. I think there's only 2 other units in the province that are viable for us, and one of those might be HRM. But there may be discussions about something within Lunenburg County as well.
You need to do some more. Okay. 12.8, Mr. Keddy and Forest Limited petition for right-of-way. Is that an in-camera matter? No.
Yeah, so yes, it is. It will be. So the letter is provided for you. We'll have an in-camera discussion, and then council could come out and make a decision, but we've also, I think the recommendation will be coming forward to not make a decision until the December 11th meeting so that we can invite both parties so that they're present.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so for now, it's just information.
Okay. $13.1, private road name request, community development recreation. Who's coming up?
Nobody's coming up. Sylvia's not here, so
Oh.
the report is there for
Oh,
your
we'll never
consideration.
approve it. She owes us.
The report and recommendation is there, and the recommendation is that you approve the proposed name.
Hang on, this is from,
It's for New Harbor, off of
Who
a
are you?
road
Off
off
of
of
you.
New Harbor
You
Road in
already-
Blandford.
there's, I spoke to this person directly. Yes. Yeah, so,
It's a whole bunch of names that were approved, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they want, the recommendation is to approve one of the proposed
there are
road
many.
names.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. I did speak to them by email. No,
Salt Rock Lane is one,
I think
Apple
it was
Hill
Salt
Lane.
Rock Lane was the one that I
They
think
want?
that we decided that would be no conflict, as there was a,
It's
they
a
wanted
unique
Island
thing.
View or something,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
So you're approving Salt Rock?
I just want to make them 100% sure. People get very upset if you get these names wrong. There we go, yeah. Yeah, Salt Rock Lane, I think is the one that we would, so I would move that we proceed with naming the road Salt Rock Lane.
Seconder? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, 13.2 Rum Runners Lane. Oh yeah, I get a bunch.
Nice lengthy report in front of you, but I will summarize it for you.
Okay,
Just for your time. So we received a letter back in 2023 to enter into the development agreement for 11 single-unit dwellings in addition to the existing 5 dwellings on Runners Lane, that's just off Burton Coast Road in Marks Point. This is currently zoned mixed use, so right now in that zone, you are allowed 1 to 4 by development permit, 5 to 11 units on a site by site plan, and then that 12 or more by development agreement. So by them proposing their total 16 units on that lot, that's where that development agreement gets triggered. So the lot is 24.6 acres, so it's fairly large. The site plan there for you to reference, and you listen to got it all laid out. The homes that are currently, there's 5 that are built story there, lots 3, 8, 10, 11, and 12 of the condo lots. Those are currently buffered by some vegetated screening. The eastern property boundary is bordered by the ocean, and of those 5 properties that are already sort of built, 3 of them are on the ocean. Those were built through development permit and followed all setbacks and requirements from the water there on that. We've got the cyclones there, I've got them listed, but I don't really need to go through them. So the applicant submits a bunch of plans and documents, and then we analyze against policy and our new planning strategy. Everything is satisfied after going through that analysis. They've got on-site sewer that's shared for all the units that's already in the development permit stage.
maybe.
Stormwater management plan that's been reviewed by municipal
Oh, that's for that.
is being satisfied. No new driveway access is
That's good.
sort of developed all at once. And plan for this. I touched on the wetlands, so we're doing that setback from the water.
That we did some.
Yeah. So yeah, driveway was constructed off TIR driveway, road story, so that again meets all the requirements. We held a public information meeting in May of 2022 when we got first application. Nobody came. And then fast forward to October of this year after we received everything, we had the draft development agreement and staff report in front of the Municipal Planning Advisory Committee. We had a good discussion, and they ended with a positive recommendation that council move forward with option 1.
You should, just for the record, note that Councillor Vino.
Oh, Councillor Vino left the room because of a potential conflict of interest. So your option 1 is being recommended? or-
Yes, I'll move We actually approved it at the MAPAC, at the Municipal Planning Advisory Committee as a recommendation, so I will move that.
I'll second it.
Municipal Council, well, anyway, option one.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Oh,
Can
sorry.
I just note that following this, we'll have to schedule a public hearing?
Yes.
The next available date is December 24th.
That's not gonna work.
So I would say likely in the new year, anytime that first week of the new year, or the next council agenda in the new year, I would say.
Well,
Do you need a motion for that as
The
well?
first council meeting is not until the January 15th. It's
this is gonna take some
You
time.
could have a special council.
You could do it. You could do
prior
it
to
special.
P&S.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, so the date's up in the air a little bit, but we're
For
gonna,
the public hearing.
or the public hearing's up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
We typically do have a motion to set the public hearing date as well.
We do. So you could choose, so we typically get a motion to set the public hearing date. It's not entirely necessary. You could choose the 8th, which, we actually don't have a policy and strategy set before then. So the first time council meets is the 15th.
Oh, okay.
So I would say, unless you want to have a special evening meeting or something like that, then I would say the 15th, because staff will be not there to prepare packages.
Okay, so the 15th.
Yeah.
So that's in the motion?
Yeah.
So it's been moved and seconded, whatever, all in favor, we approve it. Yeah. Okay. Now where am I?
13.3.
13.3. Contract award, Department of Solid Waste.
Yes, so this report is to get council's approval to award contracts to purchase a new excavator and particularly rock for Casanova.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, just because they both come in over budget, that's why we're here for council approval. So with that, they were originally included in the 25-26 fiscal year capital budgets. There's a couple of our senior heavy equipment operators have gone out and done some research on potential units and also taken a couple test drives on some prospective units we were looking at. And then based on that research, a call for bids was issued through the new procurement portal. So that's one of the sort of, I'll say, for lack of a better term, vendor sites that we can procure certain goods and services that's been approved by the province as compliant with the Public Procurement Act under Nova Scotia's legislation. So the results of the compliant bids that were received are summarized in the report there in 2 tables. So the need for this equipment was originally identified through the budget process. Basically, our existing gear is basically undersized, so we're struggling to keep up with placement of operational data covered, and also it's also with this covered material is also one of the main tools we use to fight any sort of landfill fires. It's not going to move in the last little while, but certainly what some of the drought conditions this past summer has highlighted is that our water supply may or may not be completely sustained. Present, so having a viable option to be able to haul solar materials is to declare buffer safety and regulatory wise to do that. And also said the existing excavator is a little undersized for the type of work and nature it does. The cam trucks are good for certain purposes, but it's not the best suited for a lot of the off-road work that is required at the site. So we make do with it, but it does take an awful lot of punishment that we like to, whereas the rock truck is better suited for that off-road work. It would be much more, you'd have less downtime what we expect. So with that, between the rock truck bids and also the 2 compliant excavator bids, technical scoring came in basically within 10% here. So all of them on a technical basis are deemed acceptable for purpose.
Tom, you had a question you wanted to
No, I'm going to make a motion.
Oh, he was gonna make the motion by him.
Okay, so I'll try to wrap up. So basically, there's overages for both of those, but the Schroeder budget came in fair bit under budget, so the shortfall between the two purchases, we can find through the surplus on that side, so net, we're still.
One's too much and the other was under budget.
So the recommendation is to go ahead with the purchase of the larger rock truck and excavator but otherwise, I would proceed with the smaller rock truck. It would work, or just for the next budget year. Third budget.
Yeah. Okay, Tom?
I'd like council to approve the budget relocation and award the contracts as by the rock truck and excavator as presented in this RFP. Correct.
Do we have a seconder? Discussion?
Well, I'd like to just ask a question to Ken. So,
Can you afford it?
we buy this,
Yeah.
it's not financed, we just buy it straight up, correct?
We fund these through ventures, so we fund
Okay.
debt, but the debt payments are funded through the operating revenue from the landfill.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Landfill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to make you walk up
No,
there.
no worries.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay. Waste calendar verbal update. I think got a message yesterday, late in the day, that they want me to write something by tomorrow or sometime tomorrow.
That'll be one part of it. One part we can draft something for.
If Jennifer doesn't have it already done for her.
So, Emily Key is just joined our team recently. She's been working away at the calendar with Jennifer's support as well. Get up to date. They have flagged a couple of items that certainly I agree with is certainly a concern. So there's one is our ongoing extended producer responsibility rollout, and that's still, there's still some fuzziness, I'll just say, with some of the communications and that. So some of the concern with that one is that we can do a calendar based on the information we have, like could well be updated by the time actually early in the new year. Also on the other side is what we've been advised is that on our collection schedule, GE's advised they're switching to a 4-day work week as of April 1st next year. So that's going to redo most of our collection schedule.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
So some of the discussion we've had and what we're suggesting is one option is to essentially for this coming year only, break the calendar into two pieces. We do an interim calendar to take us to March 30th. We have the information that we have that's available with that. And then sort of the April to December is with the new schedule and with any further updates to any other information that comes out. I think we think a little bit of it, it's a little unusual obviously, but I think from a communication standpoint, I think it's a cleaner break.
Oh, it does
a
make
little bit
sense,
easier
yeah.
Because now it's like, the intern will say, this is our schedule to March 30th, but just heads up, there's going to be much new schedule and other things coming up. So this is an interim update.
Yeah, there's
so
nothing
it's-
you can do about it, yeah, and if you send out one now and it's not correct, then we'll just get blamed for telling them the wrong thing.
And propose, it's gonna cost obviously twice as much to send them two calendars in one year.
It may not be quite twice as much.
Regardless,
The
the
intern,
information
it's
has
going to
to be
cost more,
accurate.
yes, for
The
sure.
information has to be accurate, because some people take that calendar and it's their Bible.
Oh, it's
Like,
what
yes.
you know,
Yeah,
it's their Bible.
Small.
So, yeah, I agree with that, that's a great idea.
So we want to do two.
Yep.
Do we? Yeah.
Yep.
Almost have to.
Moved. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
So Scott, on another note, I mean, I know that this calendar's gonna be coming out in December, make sure you check the calendar post to make sure it's third party.
There's even a post office.
Well, mail post office, right, make sure calendar post is still up with third party delivery of mail, because there's still negotiations.
Yeah.
Okay, 13.5, this designated community fund grant request, community development recreation,
Their money.
Age T, New Ross Legion, and Chester Minor Hockey.
It's their money.
Their money.
Yeah.
I move we approve those, it's their funds.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor, opposed, motion carried. their money.
Great job, Jim.
People
Yeah, so-
donate it and we take it in at the municipality and then when they ask for it back, we give it to them.
She would have it.
Yeah. Okay, 13.6.
Excuse me, I do have do I pop this one in now?
Oh,
Does this one go in now?
Yeah, it does. So,
Okay.
for our district grants, there's a list before you of various applications, and there was one additional grant that was added from District 2, and there were hard copies that were distributed to each of you from the Hubbard Streetscape. And so
Very
they're
late,
taking-
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yes, they're taking a holiday read, so that additional request is for $1,250.
Yeah.
And so the spreadsheet that's on the screen and that you have in your package outlines all of the other district requests. So I think so it's up to council if you go to do it individually or as a group or.
Well, I'm assuming all of the councillors in the districts are in support of the,
Hang on,
yeah.
I am.
calm down for a second.
You're what?
Just calm down. One second.
There's none in your area.
You said to that musical friends thing to show up?
No, that will be on the next agenda.
Okay.
So
Yes,
now
I'll
you're,
have a conversation.
now you're all right? So are we gonna approve them all at once?
Motion
Yes.
to approve them all.
Seconded.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, council, for that. Appreciate that.
Now, I'm back to who else wanted to talk about whatever else they wanted to talk about that was added to the agenda. Hubbard site, no, that's in camera. Tom, you had something.
Thank you, Board and members of the Student Council. I want to recognize a few wonderful events that have happened over the last month. Our Remembrance Day services at both this school and all our communities were well attended and were very well done. So I wanted to make a contribution and thanks to them and verbal presentation of appreciation for what they've done for both our veterans and our communities, and encourage them to keep it up. Lots of activities happening in all our communities. Chester Village Christmas events are starting this weekend, the 28th, 29th, and 30th, so please get out and enjoy everything you can, as well as in your local areas. On the third matter, I'd like to make a motion to the following. That staff be directed to review the current policy regarding tax exemptions for nonprofit organizations and prepare a report outlining comments and policy options for council's consideration prior to the 2026 budget deliberation for discussion at a future policy and strategy session.
And
You want to give us a little background on
Yeah,
that?
we've had
what
some
the
issues.
change-
I'm not very familiar with everything about these nonprofits, and we've had a couple of letters in the last year, or visits, by organizations about their nonprofit status. And of course, with one of them that we've discussed, and a few others, that I thought maybe that was worth a review of the policy, just to understand
who
it.
applies, who doesn't?
Yes, exactly.
I'll second that motion.
No? Staff report, I guess. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. That's it for you?
Yes, thank you.
Now, Clarissa, I think you had something else? Or no?
Actually, no,
That was that one.
I just want to make sure they understand that the application is really late, and I really appreciate you guys allowing me to get that new program up and running this year, same as last year, and I will definitely get after the teacher, Mr. Matt Morash, to get that application a little earlier next year. Thank you, guys. I've already said my piece.
Okay, Tina,
Thank you.
yeah, I know you
Two
had.
items.
Yeah.
New Ross Housing Project. I'd like to see if council would consider doing a letter of support for the project, and just to give it a little bit of an idea around it. The New Ross Community Care Center, which of course leads the project.
New coffee?
The MP came into New Ross and met with the group middle of November and got up to speed on the project, and where we spent the last 8 years working on the project, and certainly the support of the province and the municipality in terms of the monetary investment from the municipality to purchase the land, linking it back to the video. People haven't seen the video. That was done last spring, early summer. We had testimonials from the warden and from the CAO included with the video. So I guess what's happening is the MP would like to have in her file an official letter, if possible, from the other two levels of government indicating support for the project. I am happy to say that after last week's policy and strategy, don't see Brian anymore, last week's policy and strategy meeting, which I missed because of a medical appointment, I did go online and watch our YouTube video recap, and I was very happy that when Brian was at the table presenting to council, he indicated again strongly our priority areas of focus, the work of our growth plan, and linking it to the growth in housing and the housing stock and the importance of all ages housing and so on. So I thought, wow, I could write this letter of support right now, but of course I wouldn't. But if it is the will of council to put forward a motion to write such a letter, to have it on the record for the MP, that I again, earlier in the agenda, I indicated that I would work with the CAO to provide some of that background for the letter, if it is the will of council.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
We have a seconder. To write a letter of support?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? All those in favor? Letter of support's pretty cheap.
We're getting tired, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I know that. Okay, so that's it.
Nope, one more.
Oh, you have one more?
So
Oh, I
yeah, I
thought
did.
that was it.
New Ross Christmas Festival.
Oh, I forgot all about it.
Oh, good way to end the meeting. 32nd Annual Christmas Festival in New Ross coming up next weekend, first full weekend of December. And unfortunately, I won't be in attendance because I will be missing the festival for other reasons. So it's very sad for me, first time in 32 years. And to give a shout out to myself, why not? 33 years ago, 5 of us planned the event. So again, one of 5 original members, a councillor at the time, B. Larder, and 4 of us. So just want to indicate again, strong shout out for the New Ross Christmas Festival, 32nd year coming up next weekend. That's it, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Andre's emceeing that night.
Holiday cheermeister.
He's representing.
Kyle Miller's cutting me the tree, I think, today for Chester Basin. Anyway, okay, so, a motion, or no. We're gonna take a short break before we go in camera, but the rest of our meeting is all legal and whatever and all that kind of stuff.
Not for public.
Not for anybody else to be here but us. So thank you very much for